Hello everyone, welcome back to 10-minute recaps. Today, we'll start watching a new Korean drama, Our Beloved Summer. It's a really moving, realistic story about growing up and how complicated dating can be. The story starts in 2011 with two students in high school, Choi Young and Kook Yoon-soo. They have diametrically opposed personalities. Choi Young is lazy, fails every exam and is sociable, while Yoon-soo is top of the school, hardworking and as cold as ice. You would never expect their paths to cross, but their lives get intertwined when a filmmaker decides to make a documentary following the best and worst students in the school. They get put into the same class and recorded going about their day. First, they hate each other. Their personalities just jar so much that every little thing the other does becomes a problem in their eyes. Their natural innocent interactions make the documentary a huge hit online. At the end of the documentary, they're asked what they think their futures will look like. The ambitious Yongsu is confident that she'll be successful, while Choi Young just wants to live a peaceful, ordinary life. We jump to the present and see that things haven't quite turned out as expected. Yonsu is slaving away as a marketing manager at a small company, and instead of appreciating her work, a particularly demanding client, Jang Do-yoon, is berating her. She nearly loses the contract but manages to save it by promising to find a famous artist Koo to launch their store. The only problem? Koo is a hermit who's never appeared publicly and she doesn't even know who he is. When she returns home at night, where she lives with her grandma, she pulls an all-nighter researching him. Choi Young doesn't appear to be doing great either. He's working at home in a little restaurant that his parents run, and his parents seem to be disappointed in how lazy he is. They're much nicer to his best friend from childhood, Kim Sung-Cheol. Sung-Cheol is now a successful filmmaker, and he's doing Choi Young's parents a favour by recording a marketing video for the restaurant. But, in an unexpected twist, it turns out that Choi Young is super successful. He is Koo, the famous artist that Yoon-soo is looking for. But, as a private person, he tries to hide his identity, not even telling his parents. That night, Choi Young's manager Donggu forces Choi Young to go out for some fresh air and exercise. Sung-Cheol joins as well, and from their chatting, we find out that until a few years ago, Choi Young was unemployed and unsuccessful. He became an overnight sensation when something happened that made him work super hard. The next day, Sung-Cheol goes back to work, where his boss comes to him with a proposal. He wants to do a sequel to the childhood documentary and see how Yoon-soo and Choi Young are doing 10 years later. Sung-Cheol immediately dismisses the idea. It's revealed that the two dated for years before breaking up, and since then, they haven't spoken to each other. He doesn't think they'll agree, and he doesn't think the idea is particularly interesting either. Meanwhile, a famous K-pop idol NJ, who bought one of Choi Young's paintings, calls him and asks him to meet. She's clearly interested in him, but the oblivious Choi Young assumes that she just wants to get a free painting. Later that night, Yoon-soo's friend Jinju forces her to go on a blind date. Ever since she broke up with Choi Young a few years ago, she hasn't dated anyone and just goes to Jinju's bar every night. She stood this man up 4 times already because she's been too busy with work. And tonight, she's finally going to meet him. When she gets there though, her date roasts her personality and looks before leaving, getting revenge for being stood up. Her troublesome client Do-yoon is at the same restaurant, also eating alone. They eventually eat dinner together, and Yoon-soo drinks far too much because she wants to drown her sorrows of being ghosted. Next morning, Yoon-soo shows up at Choi Young's house. This is the first time they've seen each other since Yoon-soo dumped him 5 years ago. We get a flashback to their dating days. Yoon-soo kept asking Choi Young nonsensical questions. What would you do if we get into different universities? What would you do if I had to go study abroad? It's clear that Yoon-soo is just trying to get him to say the magic words, I love you. But the oblivious Choi Young doesn't realise and never says it. Once, when Yoon-soo asked him what he would do if she dumped him, Choi Young said that he would never see her again, and if she came looking for him, he would spray water on her and throw salt, as if he's trying to get rid of an evil ghost. Choi-young snaps out of his memories and jumps back to the present, and hurriedly fulfills his promise of spraying water. Once he's had his revenge, they sit down inside. Yongsun reveals that she's figured out that he's Koo from tiny details in Koo's paintings, and wants him to attend her marketing event. Choi-young's disappointed that she's only here for business and bluntly refuses. Yongsun gets angry that he's letting his personal emotions from a breakup 5 years ago get in the way of business. But Choi-young gets angry right back and can't believe she can put down their relationship after just 5 years. As Yongsu is about to leave, her rival for love NJ shows up. The two girls immediately sense the other will be rivals, and the atmosphere is a little tense. NJ makes up a random excuse about wanting to commission Choi-young to make a few paintings, but really, she just wants to spend more time with him. As Yongsu is going home, she runs into Sung-Cheol and is shocked when she finds out that the immature Choi-young rehearsed spraying water on her 50 times. Later, Donggu is helping out at Choi-young's family restaurant when Jeonju comes in. Her restaurant's struggling and she wants to steal some recipes. Her intentions immediately get seen through by Donggu and she escapes in embarrassment, leaving behind her fruits of spying. The notes are all about how tasty the food is, with nothing about what made them good, making Dongju laugh at how silly she is. That night, both our main characters can't get to sleep after seeing their ex. Yonsu can't help but compare herself to NJ, but her amazing grandma raises her spirits and makes her have confidence in herself. When she gets to work, Dojun is there waiting. He wants to take her to the shop that they're marketing. As they're going there, Yonsu asks Do-yoon whether he got home alright after their dinner. A shocked Do-yoon reminds her of what happened that night. Yonsu got so drunk that she cried, called Do-yoon's driver a kidnapper, and called Do-yoon a cold-blooded psychopath. When Yonsu remembers this, she just wants to find a hole in the ground and hide. Once they get to the store, they run into Choi-young and Donggu. After rejecting her, Choi-young still couldn't help but come and see the store for himself. Their meeting is super awkward. Afterwards, Yonsu finally gathers the courage to tell Do-yoon that she couldn't find Koo, but that she'll come up with a better plan to market the company. But again, she forgot that when she was drunk, she exposed that Koo was an ex-boyfriend, and Do-yoon figures out that Choi-young must be Koo. He gives her an ultimatum. If she can't treat stuff professionally and sign Choi-young to work with them, she'll be fired. This massive problem gives Yongsu such a big headache that when she runs into Choi-young in the lift, she takes it all out on him and calls him immature and childish. In response, Choi-young asks, "What if I take it seriously?" All of a sudden, the atmosphere turns from anger to love. Choi-young can't believe he asked Yongsu that question and implied that he might still have feelings for her. And as he's wandering along, suddenly NJ turns up. Choi-young is the first man to ever leave her on red, and she can't stop herself from coming to find him. Once she checks Choi-young isn't busy and just ignored her, she leaves, leaving a bemused Choi-young behind. At work, Sung-Cheol spends all day watching the old documentary. Seeing the innocence of youth and how happy they were together finally convinces him to shoot the documentary, and he approaches Choi-young to ask him, how is Choi-young going to react? If you'd like to find out, don't forget to like and subscribe.